Alright, we're taking a look at a game. Abbasid Bean Bombadil versus Hurricane. What rank are you beanies? I forgot to check. Typically, in this matchup, Abbasid Mirror. What is this build? Diamond 1, okay. So this is roughly Diamond 1 elo. At least Bean is now Diamond 1. Oh, he's doing the China trick, but with Abbasid. I guess it's fine. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what the best Abbasid build is right now. I just kind of do the one I've been doing for a while. I think, like, the differences are quite small. Nonetheless. I don't do what either of these guys did, but... typically in this matchup, whoever has more TCs will win. Pretty much. But let's see what happens. Okay, building a house a little bit late. House of Wisdom coming down now. It's a fly block for a little bit. But I'm sure that's just like a unique mistake to this game. Like he had the wood for it, so I mean giving that pointer is kind of irrelevant. Let's see, 7-3. Is he gonna go for wheelbarrow? Yes, he is. Typically 4 on gold is the right amount to get wheelbarrow. Both players are opting to do it. And then you can also get fresh foodstuffs in time for when you age. Let's take a look. So, opting to go for double scout. I'm a bit of like a double scout every game guy now. I think there is enough value to justify going 2 scouts. Your timings are delayed quite a bit in, like, for Abbasid, but it's probably worth it. You have wheelbarrow coming. Will be in a second. Not much to talk about at this stage of the game. I think we can just take a look at his build, see if it's optimized towards getting that 6-second TC down quickly. Typically, I don't do this exact build, so I don't need to add in a lumber camp, but I like to go 7 on wood. And then move to gold. Stone, sorry. But we'll see. Maybe he's going for like some horseman pressure early or something like that. Otherwise, I'd say this is probably too many on wood. Also, overgathering gold. Like, fresh food stuff's 125 gold. Just left these guys on for too long. Going for an early stable, okay. So not opting to go for the TC straight away, rather starting with horsemen and then going into TCs. Personally, I like prioritizing the TCs. As soon as I have that second TC down, I like to add in a stable, and then after you've added in that stable, go for that third TC after you're constantly producing horsemen. So that just means like macroing a few more to food, so you can keep that constant production. Like right now, he doesn't have enough on food. He might be going to correct that. No, just opting to go for 1 horseman. Scout is a little bit out of position right now. You don't know whether he's still gathering stone or if he's putting down that TC somewhere. So just a little small point. Scout should be in positioning, looking to where to hit. He also didn't know that this stable was down, which could have been helpful in this particular situation. Good thing that horsemen suck and Vils can just fight it, and there's no issue there. But I'd imagine more horsemen are going to be coming soon. So macro's blown out a little bit here. Should be dropping that second TC. He is focused on the harassment on the other side though. Donati. Alright, where's he opting to put it? Okay, he's going for the berry patch over here. There's also a deer pack here, so pretty good spot for a TC. One thing he doesn't know though is where the opponent TC is. He could be denying that right now, I think you just need to be more active with your scout. Like, if you wanted to, you could leave the horseman here, so you could go around and scout with your scout and just prevent him from getting any more stone. But your scout needs to be going around. You can also see that he's got enough stone for 2 TCs. So being here, burning this mining camp is not that valuable because he's already gotten all the stone he needs. Like it's one thing that I do quite regularly to see whether they need this resource point anymore or to know how many TCs they're going for. Just click on the stone mine. You can see he's already taken like nearly 1,000. So right now, like the use of your horseman, you can see the difference here. Like he's picked off a couple of vills while your horsemen are quite stagnant. So you just need to be active. And like the perfect opportunity to punish your opponent is when they're putting down that second TC or third TC for that matter. But right now, you just don't know where he's placed that. So it looks like the other Abbasid player is going to try and go castle here. And I'm not sure if this is something he's identified. But he's got a lot of guys on stone. He's also got an arrow slit tower here, which basically guarantees that he's going for castle. Also, you overgather 200 stone. I don't see why you wouldn't just go for that third TC, especially in an Abbasid mirror. Typically, more TCs will win, at least at the higher ranks. Like, it's really hard to punish in an Abbasid mirror to punish an extra TC. Because you have the defender's advantage, and because your vills cost so little, like they can pretty much match the amount of units you have, even with that extra TC in the initial stages. Okay, so some raiding going down now. Imagine if you picked this off before your opponent even got there. Another thing to note, and something that Bean's done well here, is he's made sure he's put down the mill here. It's going to give the extra 100 food on all the berry patches. This is something that his opponent didn't do. And as you can see, only getting 250 food from each. These ones have 350 food. Alright, so I'm going to assume that Bean knows or suspects that his opponent is trying to go castle. So we'll see what his response is. It looks like he's just macroing to go up to castle himself and fight it out then. Wait, does red actually go for a third? He does. So you don't know where the third TC is right now. You should be pulling these vills back. You obviously know this raid is happening. And yes, your TC is going to kill the horseman, but you lost like 3 or 4 vills for free. Let's see the vill count here. 37. 38. I want to say red has not been producing. Okay. My suspicion was correct. He's not producing from his second TC. Like the vill lead for red should be quite big right now. I know you've picked off a few vills of your own. But he's definitely picked off more than you have. Plus he's adding the third TC right now. This could have been done a long time ago if his like macro was a bit more on point, because he gathered the stone for it a long time ago. Wait, you're not aging now? I think this is quite a late decision to like pull back on the idea of not going castle if you have it. Oh, wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are just going to go castle. I don't think you need to produce these few extra units in between. You already had the gold to age, and you're just delaying your castle by producing those few extra units. But you definitely need to be more active with scouting your opponent. I hate how the view does this. Like, I can't see what he's already scouted. But knowing what composition your opponent is predominantly going is really important. I'm not sure if you have that information. I know you scouted these few barracks. Okay, your opponent just doesn't have any production building, so it's fine. But typically, like, by the time I've aged with Abbasid, I like to have like 8 production buildings in a mirror. Just because like, if you're not producing horsemen and spears in transition, you're gonna have so much resources floating. Plus, obviously, your eco's ramping up and your vills cost nothing. So having as many production buildings as possible is really going to be beneficial in a mirror. And typically, like around these ranks in an Abbasid mirror, what I tend to see is whoever like doesn't put enough production buildings down in the early castle age generally loses. So this is some nice raids from you, identifying that he's coming out to these resource points without any protection. So a little bit of a wait, is he not aging? Oh my, that is not good. Alright, so your opponent's macro is quite off right now, which is going to cost him the game, I'd imagine. He has a ton of sheep that he could collect to go up. He needs to put towers out here as well. But you're exploiting all these very nicely. Hitting all those pocket ecos, which your opponent... What the heck? Oh. What is this, man? Alright, so you're up the castle. Adding in a third TC, which I like. I definitely prefer adding in the third TC in Feudal Age, though. In the Abbasid mirror. I think this is quite standard play against in a lot of other matchups, adding in a third TC in Castle Age. But typically I like to do it in Feudal in the mirror. And this is coming back to the point that I mentioned before. Like, it's crucial you have more production buildings in the Abbasid mirror. Like, well, it's just in general. If you're going multi-TC and not producing in transition, you can see, like, you're just floating a shit ton of resources. When you could just be flooding Castle Age units into his Feudal Age. Okay, now you're producing... What are you opting to go for? Knight here. Which is good. I think adding in men-at-arms is really important as soon as you hit castle, just because your opponent is not aging, and you probably, if you like checked his House of Wisdom, you could have seen that he wasn't aging as well. So you could have like flooded in men-at-arms, and they don't really have a good response other than camel archers, which aren't that great of a response, especially if you have like knights as well and supporting units. And it takes forever for camel archers to kill men-at-arms, Castle Age men-at-arms, that is. If the camel archers are feudal. This is very questionable. Oh, it's pretty funny, to be honest. Okay, you're doing it yourself now. Still hitting eco points, which is good. But production is hurting right now, and you're not producing from all of your production buildings. I don't know what your hotkey situation is here. But make sure you have them in hotkeys and you're just constantly producing. You can also check your global queue to make sure that units are being produced. Another thing as well, in a mirror, or in a mirror especially, or if you just have the age advantage in general, considering you're not under pressure, I definitely recommend going for an early mosque. So chuck down a mosque, you have the wood for it. So you need to go out and get the relic straight away. It's a huge advantage to have like 4 or 5 relics over your opponent. And it just like blows out the eco lead by a mile. I'm sure you're ahead now, even though he's on 3 TC. Because you've just been getting in a lot of raids. And your opponent doesn't like making vills out of this TC. You shouldn't be this passive as well. When you have the age advantage, you also know that your opponent doesn't have that many units. So like you should just be flooding in units into his eco right now. Okay, I'm just going to leave this on reveal all map because that's triggering me. That I can't see what he scouted. But like you've constantly been above like 2,500 resources since you've hit Castle Age. Could you imagine if you had like 2,000 worth of resources in his base on top of this right now? Like the game would just instantly be over. So make sure you like are dropping more production buildings. If you see that you've got like anything over 1,000 food and you're producing from all your productions, just drop more, especially if you're floating wood. Do you have a blacksmith of your own? Okay, you do. Opponent is throwing down a keeper right now. Oh, you cleared up this TC? Oh. Oh, so you're gonna go Imperial here, I'm guessing. Not aging yet. Still relics just chilling out of the map, which should be getting taken up right now. And you should just drop like 15 production buildings, no exaggeration. But like in Castle Age, you could have ended this game already if you just spent all your resources. Just gonna fast forward here. So your opponent's actually going for relics now. I think I've covered like the main points, which would have like improved your gameplay in this game significantly. Okay, this is some interesting chopping tactics. Literally running around an entire keep to get a lumber camp. So let's see what units you opt to go for. Oh, there we go. There they are. Okay, we see the infinite production buildings that are long due, which is good to see. Trying to fight knights with vills, I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. Yeah, 2 knights are gonna kill all those vills, brother. Oh, the proxy rams, they come into play. Doing stuff. Macro's gone a little bit bent since all these multiple attacks are happening. Which is understandable, but like you need to get in the habit of always looking at your resources and making sure that you're on top of it. See you later, Don. More raids, it's good. Man, this guy hasn't learned his lesson, hey? Yeah, he does have a farm transition coming in now. What's going on your side? This is why, like, I don't really agree with the choice to go up to Imperial Age here. Because, like, you've hit Imperial Age, but you have not one single advantage right now from going Imperial. Sure, the advantages might kick in over the long haul here, but like your units aren't upgraded. Like you're just transitioning a huge farm eco right now. And if like your opponent was more switched on, like, and played this a bit differently, he could have punished you big time here. But you are unpunished in this game, which is fine. Macro's a little bit off. Like, there needs to be way more on food right now. And you could just be like making units and bombards and just ending this game right now. Yeah, but you're paying like 3,000 resources for a 200 resource upgrade. Obviously it's a nice upgrade, but like if you just had 30 more vills in his base, units in his base, that difference is way bigger. Plus you could have also like, you know, had a more stable food income for the time that you do hit Imperial, and you could have like instantly use that to your advantage, like getting all the techs, being able to consistently flood in more units, etc, etc. Okay, bombards look like they'll probably come out pretty soon, maybe even Treb. Also, you could have walled off this game as well. Walling off would have made a big difference. Okay, keep on the wood line. It's a nice spot. There's a lot of opportunity to be producing here right now as well. Like there's no units coming out and you have 3,000 food in the bank. Alright, Caleb, catch you later. I'm guessing you're just gonna end this game pretty soon with the mass bombards, landmark snipe. Like this comp works out in this game, but I still recommend like having some sort of units that can protect your bombards, whether that's spears, crossbows. It doesn't really matter in this game, but like horsemen and men-at-arms don't do a good job of stopping something getting on top of your bombards. So I recommend having spears or crossbows in the mix. And that's gonna be game. GG. But yeah, there's a lot of things, and when I say a lot of things, there was a few things that were repeated over and over in that game, which could have helped you end it sooner. And like, obviously, if you implement a lot of that stuff, it'll help you beat people at higher ranks in that same matchup. But yeah, a few decision-making things, mass production, and scouting in the early game to be able to punish it. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how many misplays they make, and me too as well. It's probably the same. Like, but when you watch back your own games, like I'm sure you could have seen a lot of those errors yourself. But yeah, it's why I find it funny when like a lot of lower ranked people like bag on like professionals for making certain mistakes, when if they watch their own games, they would realize they're making a lot more mistakes than they realize.